The Protestant Reformation. Protestant reformers, including John Wycliffe, Martin Luther, John Calvin, Thomas Cranmer, John Thomas, John Knox, Roger Williams, Cotton Mather, and John Wesley, as well as most Protestants of the 16th to the 18th century, felt that the earlier church had been led into the great apostasy by the papacy and identified the Pope with the Antichrist. Luther declared that not just the Pope from time to time was Antichrist, but the papacy was Antichrist because they were the representatives of an institution opposed to Christ. The Centuriators of Magdeburg, a group of Lutheran scholars in Magdeburg headed by Matthias Flacius, wrote the 12-volume Magdeburg Centuries to discredit the Catholic Church and lead other Christians to recognize the Pope as the Antichrist. So rather than expecting a single Antichrist to rule the earth during a future tribulation period, Martin Luther, John Calvin, and other Protestant reformers saw the Antichrist as a present feature on the world of their time, fulfilled in the papacy. Among the other who interpreted the biblical prophecy, historically, there were many church fathers. Justin Martyr wrote about the Antichrist. He whom Daniel foretells would have dominion for a time, and times and a half, is even now at the door. Irenaeus wrote in Against Heresies about the coming of the Antichrist. This Antichrist shall devastate all things, but then the Lord will come from heaven on the clouds for the righteous. Tertullian, looking to the Antichrist, wrote, "He is to sit in the temple of God and boast himself as being God. In our view, he is Antichrist, as taught us in both the ancient and the new prophecies, and especially by the Apostle John, who says that already many false prophets are gone out into the world as the forerunners of Antichrist. Hippolytus of Rome, in his treatise on Christ and Antichrist, wrote, as Daniel also says in the words, I considered the beast and look. There were 10 horns behind it, among which shall rise another horn, an offshoot, and shall pluck it up by the roots, the 3 that were before it. And under this was signified none other than Antichrist. Athanasius of Alexandria already clearly hold to the historical view in his many writings. In the deposition of Arius he wrote, I addressed a letter to Arius and his fellows, exhorting them to renounce his impiety. There are gone forth in this diocese at the time certain lawless men, enemies of Christ, teaching an apostasy which one may justly suspect and designate as a forerunner of Antichrist. Jerome wrote, says the Apostle Paul in the 2nd epistle of the Thessalonians, unless the Roman Empire should first be desolated and Antichrist proceed, Christ will not come. He also identifies the little horn of Daniel 7:8 and 7:24-25, which he shall speak as if he were God, Some Franciscans has considered the Emperor Frederick II a positive Antichrist who would purify the Catholic Church from opulence, riches, and clergy. Historicist interpretations of Book of Revelation usually includes the identification of one or more of the following: the Antichrist from 1 and 2 John, the beast of Revelation 13, the man of sin or man of lawlessness of 2 Thessalonians 2, 1-12, the little horn of Daniel 7 and 8, the abomination of desolation of Daniel 9, 11 and 12, and the whore of Babylon of Revelation 17. The Protestant reformers tended to hold the belief that the Antichrist's power would be revealed so that everyone would comprehend and recognize that the Pope is the real, true Antichrist and not the Vicar of Christ. Doctrinal works of literature published by the Lutherans and Reformed churches, the Presbyterians, the Baptists, the Anabaptists, and the Methodists contain reference to the Pope as the Antichrist, including the small cult articles, Article 4 from 1537, the treatise on the power and the primacy of the Pope, written by Philip Melanchthon in 1537, the Westminster Confession, Article 25.6, written in 1646, and the 1689 Baptist Confession of Faith, Article 26.4. In 1754, John Wesley published his explanatory notes upon the New Testament, which is currently a doctrinal standard of the United Methodist Church. In his notes on the Book of Revelation, chapter 13, he commented, "The whole succession of popes from Gregory VII are undoubtedly antichrists. Yet this hinders not, but that the last pope in this succession will be more eminently the Antichrist, the man of sin, adding to that of his predecessors a particular degree of wickedness from the bottomless pit." The identification of the Pope with the Antichrist was so ingrained in the Reformation era that Luther himself stated it repeatedly. Quote, "This teaching of the supremacy of the Pope shows forcefully that the Pope is the very Antichrist who has exalted himself above and opposed himself against Christ, because he will not permit Christians to be saved without his power, which nevertheless is nothing, and is neither ordained nor commended by God. And, quote, nothing else than the kingdom of Babylon and the very Antichrist. For who is the man of sin and the son of perdition, but he who by his teaching and his ordinances increases the sin and perdition of souls in the church, while he sits in the church as if he were God. All these conditions have now, for many ages, been fulfilled by the papal tyranny." John Calvin similarly wrote, quote, "Though it be admitted that Rome was once the mother of all churches, yet from the time when it began to be the seat of Antichrist, it has ceased to be what it was before. Some persons think us so severe and censorious when we call the Roman pontiff Antichrist. But those who are of this opinion do not consider that they bring the same charge of presumption against Paul himself, after whom we speak and whose language we adopt. I shall briefly show you that Paul's word in 2 Thessalonians 2 are not capable of any other interpretation than that which applies to them, to the papacy. John Knox wrote on the Pope, "Yea, to speak it in plain words, lest that we submit ourselves to Satan, thinking that we submit ourselves to Jesus Christ. For us, for your Roman Church, as it is not corrupted, and the authority thereof, whereon stands the hope of your victory, I no more doubt, but that it is in the synagogue of Satan, and the head thereof called the Pope, to be that man of sin, of whom the apostle speaks." Thomas Cranmer on the Antichrist wrote, quote, "Thereof it followeth Rome to be the seat of Antichrist, and the Pope to be very Antichrist himself. I could prove the same by many other scriptures, old writers, and strong reasons." John Wesley, speaking of the identity given in the Bible of the Antichrist, wrote, quote, "In many respects, the Pope has an indisputable claim to those titles. He is, in an emphatical sense, the man of sin, as he increases all manner of sin above measure, and he is, too, properly styled the son of perdition, as he has caused the death of numberless multitudes, both of his opposers and followers, destroyed innumerable souls, and will himself perish everlastingly. He it is that opposeth himself to the emperor, once his rightful sovereign, and that exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, commanding angels and putting kings under his feet, both of whom are called gods in Scripture, claiming the highest power, the highest honor, suffering himself not once only to be styled God or vice God. Indeed, no less is implied in his ordinary title, Most Holy Lord or Most Holy Father, so that he sitteth enthroned in the temple of God, mentioned Rev. XI1, declaring himself that he is God, claiming the prerogatives which belong to God alone. Roger Williams wrote about the Pope, the pretended vicar of Christ on earth, who sits as God over the temple of God, exalting himself not only above all that is called God, but over the souls and the consciousness of all his vassals, yea, over the Spirit of Christ, over the Holy Spirit, yes, and God himself, speaking against the God of heaven, thinking to change times and laws, but he is the son of perdition. The identification of the Roman Catholic Church as the apostate power, written of in the Bible as the Antichrist, became evident to many as the Reformation began, including John Wycliffe, who was well known throughout Europe for his opposition to the doctrine and practices of the Catholic Church, which he believed had clearly deviated from the original teachings of the early Church and to be contrary to the Bible. Wycliffe himself tells, Sermons 3, Now he concludes that there was a great contrast between what the church was and what it ought to be, and saw the necessity for reform. Along with John Huss, they had started the inclination towards ecclesiastical reforms of the Catholic Church. When the Swiss reformer Ulrich Zwingli became the pastor of the Grossmünster in Zurich in 1518, he began to preach ideas on reforming the Catholic Church. Zwingli, who was a Catholic priest before he became a reformer, often referred to the Pope as the Antichrist. He wrote, "I know that in it works the might and power of the devil, that is, of the Antichrist." The English reformer William Tyndale held that while the Roman Catholic realms of that age were the empire of Antichrist, any religious organization that distorted the doctrine of the Old and the New Testaments also showed the work of the Antichrist. In his treatise, The Parable of the Wicked Mammon, he expressly rejected the established church teachings that look to the future for an Antichrist to rise up. And he taught that the Antichrist is a present spiritual force that will be with us until the end of the age under different religious disguises from time to time. Tyndale's translation of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 concerning the man of lawlessness reflected his understanding, but was significantly amended by later revisers, including the King James Bible Committee, which followed the Vulgate more closely. In 1973, the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops Committee on Ecumenical and Interreligious Affairs and the USA National Committee of the Lutheran World Federation, in the official Catholic Lutheran Dialogue, officially signed an agreement on papal primacy and the universal church, including this passage. In calling the Pope the Antichrist, the early Lutherans stood in a tradition that reached back to the 11th century. Not only dissidents and heretics, but even saints had called the Bishop of Rome the Antichrist when they wished to castigate his abuse of power. What Lutherans understood as a papal claim to unlimited authority over everything and everyone reminded them of the apocalyptic imagery of Daniel 11, a passage that even prior to the Reformation had been applied to the Pope as the Antichrist of the last days. In 1988, Ian Paisley, an evangelical minister and founder of the Free Presbyterian Church of Ulster, made headlines in an infamous manner by accusing Pope John Paul II as the Antichrist during one of the Pope's speeches before the European Parliament, which at the time Paisley was member. His accusation and the reactions of both Pope John Paul II and other members of the European Parliament was recorded on video. The Wisconsin Evangelical Lutheran Synod states about the Pope and the Catholic Church, quote, "There are two principles that mark the papacy as the Antichrist. One is that the Pope takes to himself the right to rule the church that belongs only to Christ. He can make laws forbidding the marriage of priests, eating or not eating meat on Friday, birth control, divorce, and remarriage, even where there are not such laws in the Bible. The second is that he teaches that salvation is not by faith alone, but by faith and works. The present Pope upholds and practices these principles. This marks his rule as an anti-Christian rule in the Church. All popes hold the same office over the Church and promote the same anti-Christian belief, so that they are all part of the reign of the Antichrist. The Bible does not present the Antichrist as one man for one short time, but as an office held by a man through successive generations. It is the title like King of England. Currently, many Protestant and Restorationist denominations still officially maintain that the papacy is the Antichrist, such as the conservative Lutheran churches and the Seventh-day Adventists. Counter-Reformation. In the Counter-Reformation, the views of Praetorianism and Futurism were advanced by Catholic Jesuits beginning in the 16th century in response to the identification of the Pope as the Antichrist. These were rival methods of prophetic interpretation. The futurist and the preterist systems both are in conflict with the historicist method of interpretation. Historically, preterist and non-preterists have agreed that the Jesuit Luis de Alcázar wrote the first systematic preterist exposition of prophecy, Vestigatio Arcani Sensus in Apocalypsi, published in 1614 during the Counter-Reformation.